Greetings everyone and welcome back to the Noctilucant channel. Continuing on, we have another very interesting project to talk about, and I really like this project. And again, it was completely new to me, so this was a really nice surprise. So here we're going to be talking about the Corvidae Cabal, two albums. One is called Seeing Time and the other one is called the Gossamer Bridge. So the Corvidae Cabal, right from the get-go, a very intriguing name, and it was one that required me to do a little Google searching. So, as it turns out, a Corvidae is a sort of a bird that belongs to like the crow and raven family, and a cabal is basically like a political scheme, or just a scheme, a plot in general. So basically, the name kind of is like the crows are plotting something against us. Sounds like something from Twin Peaks. What is the owls are not what they seem? I feel like it's got to be 100% influenced by that. So that's really cool. I'm a latecomer to enjoying Twin Peaks. Me and my wife watched it about 3 years ago, and I still don't really get it or like it, but it's intriguing. Anyway, the Corvidae Cabal is one of many side projects from Scott Candy, who is well known for his project Gruntsplatter, which is a sort of death industrial and noise ambient project that he's been doing since the mid-90s. And of course, he's well known as the label boss of Chronic Mind. It's hard to describe this music, and it's really kind of hard to describe Gruntsplatter too, but I'm going to attempt that in a couple weeks, because Scott sent me several Gruntsplatter albums too. I guess probably the best way to describe Gruntsplatter is it's basically like noise ambient, and I know that very phrase, it sounds like an oxymoron, kind of like noise. You think of noise, you think of harsh, abrasive, loud, uncomfortable, and you think of ambient and you're like, oh, relaxing, tranquil, peaceful, harmonious, and the two terms don't go together, but then again there's a lot of artists that somehow make it work. I also love using the word oxymoron because it reminds me of a very funny incident in my life. I was in 7th grade, and a science teacher was teaching us what the term meant, and then there was this smart-ass kid in the class. His name was Marcus, and he was goofing around talking while the teacher was lecturing, and then he slammed his fist on the fucking Scantron or projection screen, broke it, and just said, "God damn it, Marcus, pay attention!" And I'll never forget that, and that's how I learned what oxymoron meant. And I feel the term noise ambient is definitely an oxymoron. But anyway, the Corvidae Cabal is a Gruntsplatter Scott Candy side project, and like a lot of side projects, you're gonna see lap over from the artist's main body of work, I think, and that's very true of the Corvidae Cabal. It is basically noise ambient, at least here on Seeing Time. It basically sounds like a less harsh version of Gruntsplatter. That's probably the best way I could put it. It is dark ambient intermingled with sort of noisy soundscapes, noise ambient, yeah. And whenever I mention noise in one of these reviews, I'm always just thinking people are oh no, it's noise, it's abrasive and uncomfortable music. And yeah, in a manner of speaking, old noisy ambient is kind of uncomfortable music, but there's always a certain atmosphere to these kind of artists that just it goes beyond simple harsh abrasive noise walls or just noise music or whatever. That more, well, you guys have probably heard it, just noise music, pure noise music or whatever, will never resonate with me. It lacks all that atmosphere. This album and the Gossamer Bridge, well, there's an immense amount of atmosphere in it. That's why I really like these. And it's hard to really it's hard to describe the stuff because there's not necessarily a song that sticks out and makes you go oh yeah, man, this is the song, this is the single here. No, that's not really what's going on here. It just it's a smooth but still kind of abrasive journey. It doesn't necessarily have a nightmarish kind of quality. It doesn't have a post-apocalyptic kind of quality. It's just it's a journey, and I like it. It's very cool. So The Corvidae Cabal, the history of the project goes back to, if I remember correctly, about 2015. The first couple of releases were just put out digitally through Bandcamp, and then eventually started putting out on his own Chronic Mind Records label in physical format. So yeah, Seeing Time was the first proper one done in physical format. You can kind of see the front cover there, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's like this sort of, there's a Corvidae or raven, crow kind of character on it, kind of cool looking. There's the back cover there. And the digipack isn't showing a whole lot, but more interesting things there. One of the things too about this album, it's dedicated to the memory of Scott's wife Nora, who passed away a couple of years ago from cancer. And first of all, my condolences, Scott. Can't imagine the sorrow and the pain you've been through, but you know, it's weird too. Like, I used to, like, whenever I used to read stuff like on an album or anything, like if someone was saying in memory of someone, it didn't really like fully resonate with me until I myself was married, and I don't know, for some reason I read that on his website. It was really crushing to me. It just was like, man, you know, like, I mean, it's just, life is fragile, and you never know when someone's time's gonna be up. And so, anyway, sorry, you know, my condolences again, Scott. So, anyway, that's the Corvidae Cabal and Seeing Time. So then the follow-up to Seeing Time is the Gossamer Bridge, which, musically it's similar, but I gotta say I like this album slightly more in that the fact that it was more dark ambient sounding. There's still some noisier characteristics to this, but this sounded more like a dark ambient album to me. And I mean, anyone who watches this channel knows that, you know, I'm the dark ambient guy. That's what started this whole channel. But yeah, I really like this. There's a much more, maybe it feels like here on this album there's a little bit more of that kind of nightmarish feel to it. It also doesn't have like the beats, like the industrial beats that are in this album. It's a much more more nightmarish, more maybe, you know, again, kind of that post-apocalyptic kind of feel. It has a very cinematic sort of quality to it while not being a cinematic dark ambient release. It's music for the mind, and it's a moving picture show, and it's a really cool release. I mean, I really like this. It was really cool. I mean, it was nice to see, I guess, to see Scott do something maybe a little less abrasive, because it seems like the majority of the music he's put out over the years has always been sort of more in that death industrial, noise ambient, power electronics, or I think he even had a few like pure noise bands, which obviously, as I said, I'm not really into. But this was cool. You know, definitely more just pure dark ambient, and just really cool. Each of these albums are about an hour long, so you definitely get some serious bang for your buck, and just great stuff, man. But yeah, definitely preferring the Gossamer Bridge over Seeing Time, but that's not to downplay Seeing Time. Seeing Time is really great. Man. So anyway, there's a little look at the front cover of this one. Pretty minimal graphics, much kind of like the other one. Oops, that's not dropping, huh? And then there's the inside. You know, if you definitely are intrigued by the whole noisy ambient thing, I think unquestionably Scott and both his projects, Gruntsplatter and the Corvidae Cabal, are, you know, at least for me, it's two of the best projects I've ever heard in this style. And you know, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, just kind of hearing something new, something perhaps a little more abrasive, but still highly atmospheric, with just a really rich atmosphere and just cinematic quality, but just, well, not being, you know, the more cinematic dark ambient most of us know from like the Cryo Chamber label. It has nothing to do with any of that stuff. There's no, you know, field recordings or voices or anything like that, or no discernible human voices. I mean, there's definitely seems like there might be some sort of voices in this music, or maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me again. I don't know, but really great stuff. So definitely check it out. The Corvidae Cabal, Seeing Time, and the Gossamer Bridge. Awesome side project from Scott's Candy. Right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like, share, subscribe. I haven't said that in a while. And other than that, I will see you next time. Got more reviews coming up, and if you've been enjoying them, my name is Joe. All right, see you next time. Bye.